Jax is not a champion you see very often at high ranks. In high ranks, most people look down on this champion because he does not provide enough for the team. Jax is considered a high elo liability because he doesn't contribute much to early game team fights. Most people's perception of what Jax's job is snowball, split push, and scale. But thanks to one particular Korean Jax player, his Jax build allows you to serve as frontline and as backline buster. This is Hyushin Hyuya. He peaked at rank 10 in the Korean Challenger ladder and currently sits comfortably in the top 50. His build has been adapted and copied by almost every single high elo Jax player. The main difference is the purchase of Titanic Hydra. This is Hyushin Hyuya's full build on Jax. It is his most common core build. No Blade of the Ruined King, no Hextech Gunblade, no Guinsoo's Rageblade. At first glance, this build looks like it has a terrible lack of split push power. Why is this build better than a traditional Jax build that builds Blade of the Ruined King or Trinity Force first? This build has no attack speed, no lifesteal, no Blade of the Ruined King, none of the things that traditionally makes Jax very strong. Yet this is the only version of Jax that you will see in high elo Korea. Why is this version of Jax the only Jax that is challenger worthy? To understand it, you have to know Jax's weaknesses. Jax has the 14th highest base HP. He also has the 5th highest base AD. Every single champion has the same amount of attack speed at level 1. But since Jax's passive gives him attack speed, he will have more than anyone else. On top of Counter-Strike, which allows him to ignore minions, his level 1 trading is one of the best in the entire game. Generally, when you get an advantage in lane, you want to buy tank items. The reason for this is so that you can keep your lead easier. Germ's Fist has more HP attached to it than Phage. Titanic Hydra makes it harder for burst champions to make a decent comeback when they fall behind. That is not the only reason you pick up Titanic Hydra. The biggest source of damage from Jax is his passive from his ultimate, Grandmaster's Might. However, in a regular teamfight, a squishy champion will rarely ever allow you to get 3 hits on them. Titanic Hydra active counts as an auto attack, which allows you to get that crucial 3rd hit on someone. Combo is very simple and straightforward. Counter-Strike, leap in. As you auto attack, you can animation cancel your first auto attack with the animation of your E. Use W as an auto attack reset, and then use Titanic Hydra to proc your ultimate passive. It can be very difficult to burst people out without being able to stack up your passive on something else beforehand. Titanic Hydra removes that weakness. But what about split pushing? Isn't attack speed more effective on a split push champion like Jax? Jax is a split pusher without wave clear. Attack speed is good for destroying turrets, but without fast wave clear, you can't get minions to turrets to actually destroy them. Tiamat can be considered essential to the Jax split push. If you're killing minions and not killing turrets, you are not split pushing, you're farming. Even if a Jax player wants to split push, he can't do it effectively unless he has decent, reliable wave clear. Without early wave clear, you cannot always make good teleport plays, and you cannot always join your team for dragon fights. Now, there is one more reason that Titanic Hydra is such an important item on Jax, and that is because of the amount of HP that it gives you. Jax receives a very large amount of armor and magic resist from his ultimate alone. But in order for a champion to really be tanky, they need resistances and HP. If you just have a bunch of armor and magic resist without a lot of HP to back it up, you essentially are a very skinny guy in a very thick armor. Even though the armor and magic resist is very good at reducing the damage, you can't take a lot of damage in the first place because you're not bulky. Now, why does Hyushin Hyuya almost never buy lifesteal? Most players consider lifesteal a must-have on Jax. Lifesteal can be a very expensive stat, and in teamfights you can get kited out and die immediately. Lifesteal is the potential to gain back a lot of HP. Buying HP guarantees HP. This is not to say that Blade of the Ruined King and Hextech Gunblade are always bad items. It is more suitable to buy these items against tanky team comps, and more importantly, champions that can potentially 1v1 you, such as Fiora, Darius, or Irelia. That is not to say you get Titanic Hydra every single matchup. There are many matchups that you get Trinity Force first because of the important speed up that Phage gives you. Trinity Force is much stronger against champions who want to kite you, such as Jace, Kayle, Kennen, Rumble. Think of this version of Jax as a more team-orientated Jax build. By buying full tank, you last longer in teamfights. You draw more pressure away from your carries. You might be less of a threat damage-wise to the enemy carries, but you will be a threat for longer by being tankier. Thanks to his ultimate, by nature of his champion, Jax will do damage no matter what. The longer a teamfight lasts, the better it is for a Jax. Being able to dive in headfirst into a teamfight and not have to worry about being instantly blown up is much more valuable to the team than having attack speed or more lifesteal. In high elo, people will punish you more often for being selfish and buying nothing but damage items. That is why this version of Jax is the only version of Jax that can be seen in Challenger Korea. For runes and masteries, go armor yellows, scaling MR blues, 6 AD reds, 3 attack speed reds, 1 attack speed quint, and 2 armor quints. Against MR based champions, change scaling armor to scaling HP, and change armor quintessences to flat MR quintessences. For masteries, go 18-0-12. Jax is completely based around auto attacks, so Fervor of Battle makes perfect sense on him. Since this build does not buy Blade of the Ruined King early, Veteran Scars will get you more value than Runic Armor. For your build, start either Corrupting Potion or Doran's Shield. This simply depends on how much harass you feel like you will take in the lane. For your first back, if you cannot afford any of the other items, Doran's Blade is a decent first buy. If you're having trouble in a magic damage matchup such as Rumble or Singed, you can purchase Hex Drinker and sit on that for the rest of the game. Building either Germ's Fist or Phage first will depend on your decision on whether you want Tiamat or Trinity Force first. Completed Boots is also another option if you want bulk with movement speed. Though GA has been revamped to be more attack damage orientated, it is still a very strong item for Jax. For your defensive options, you can go Randuin, Spirit Visage, Sterix Gauge, or Mercurial Scimitar. And if you're against duelist type champions who have a good shot at 1v1ing you, such as Fiora, Irelia, or Darius, Bork and Hextech Gunblade make those matchups much easier.